He was 9 years old. 9. And he was already flying pod races. Like it was a weekend hobby between building robots and winning street races in the desert. I mean, come on. Most kids at that age are still figuring out how not to glue their fingers together. Meanwhile, this kid's casually defying death in front of a stadium of screaming aliens like it's Tuesday. Something about Anakin Skywalker just wasn't normal. And right away, the Jedi are like, he's too old to train. Too old. He was a literal child, with more raw force ability than anyone they'd ever seen. And their first response was, nope, let's suppress that immediately. Brilliant. What could possibly go wrong when you ignore and isolate the most powerful being in the galaxy from the jump? Yeah, that always ends well. But here's the twist that makes your jaw clench. It could have gone well. Anakin didn't start off dark. He was kind, loyal, driven by love and the fear of losing it. He wasn't trying to rule the galaxy. He just wanted to save the people he cared about. But the Jedi told him to stop caring, to let go, to stuff it all down and pretend emotions don't exist. Like that's ever worked in the history of literally anything. So what do you think happens when someone that powerful, that emotional, and that desperate starts being manipulated by the one guy who actually listens to him? Oh yeah, that's right, galactic disaster. We're talking one of the most powerful Force users ever, flipping to the dark side in slow motion while everyone else stands around shrugging like, guess he's having a rough day. And yet somehow, even when he's burning on Mustafar or hunting Jedi through temple halls, you still see it. That little glimmer of the gifted kid from Tatooine who just wanted to matter, who just wanted to be enough. And that's what makes his story hit like a freight train. Because deep down you know it didn't have to end that way, but it did. In this video, we're breaking down why Anakin Skywalker wasn't just powerful, he was terrifyingly gifted. We're talking raw force potential, mind-blowing combat instincts, and a tragic fall that makes you want to throw a lightsaber at a wall. From padracing to prophecy to the edge of redemption. This is the story of the most naturally talented Jedi the galaxy ever knew. Let's just ask the obvious question right out of the gate. How in the world does a 9-year-old human slave from the desert end up pod racing? Like a seasoned veteran and winning against species with reflexes bred for speed. That's not just impressive, it's basically ridiculous. The Jedi Council saw it and freaked out. Even Qui-Gon Jinn, the most unbothered Jedi in the galaxy, was like, hey, maybe this child is literally Space Jesus. It's not just the Force sensitivity. It's how naturally Anakin does everything. Fixing droids, building pod racers, understanding people's emotions better than adults twice his age. He didn't train for years to master these things, he just did them. Like the Force was whispering cheat codes into his ear, while everyone else was still reading the manual. When he joins the Jedi, he doesn't crawl, he sprints. Within a few short years, he's out-dueling people who've been at it for decades. He bonds with the Force like it's a second language he never had to learn. Even his dreams start predicting the future, no training necessary. How many Jedi can say they're basically half Oracle, half superhero, and still haven't hit puberty? And here's the thing that makes you sit up and think. If Anakin was that powerful with almost no formal training early on, what could he have become with the right guidance? What if he'd been raised by someone who actually understood what it meant to nurture power instead of suppress it? The Jedi weren't prepared for him and, frankly, neither was the galaxy. We've seen Jedi prodigies before, but this was different. Anakin wasn't just talented, he bent the rules of what talent even was. It's like watching a kid walk into a chess tournament and beat 10 grandmasters, while asking what the horsey piece does. It makes you wonder if the Jedi ever truly understood what they were dealing with. Now, here's where the cracks start to show, and it's maddening to watch. The same Jedi who marveled at Anakin's gift immediately turned around and tried to put a leash on it. They didn't trust him. They feared what they couldn't control. Instead of guiding the chosen one, they micromanaged him like he was a problematic intern, with too much caffeine and not enough supervision. They denied him the rank of master, even while handing him a seat on the council. Think about that. You're telling the most powerful Jedi in the Order, a literal war hero, that he's welcome to the grown-up table, but still has to eat at the kids' menu. That's not mentorship. That's a setup for resentment. And Anakin felt every ounce of that hypocrisy. The tragedy is that underneath the bravado and rage, Anakin was just a deeply hurt kid who never really healed. He had nightmares that his mother was suffering, and when he finally finds her, she dies in his arms. That kind of grief doesn't just go away, especially not for someone whose power is tied to his emotions. And when Padme enters the picture, she becomes his anchor, the one person he believes he can't lose. But instead of helping him process that attachment, the Jedi tell him to suppress it. As if suppressing feelings has ever gone well for anyone in the history of anything. It's like watching a ticking time bomb get hugged tighter every day. Anakin's power never scared him. What scared him was being powerless to stop the people he loved from dying. That's the real twist of the knife. He didn't fall because he wanted more power, he fell because he thought it was the only way to protect the people he cared about. There's something brutally human in that mistake, and yet no one really saw him. Not Obi-Wan, not Yoda, not even Padma really. They all saw the role, the prophecy, the Jedi, but not the broken person underneath, who was unraveling one bad day at a time. All that talent, all that potential drowning in silence. By the time he became Vader, the gifted boy from Tatooine was gone. What was left was a ghost inside a machine, and the galaxy never recovered. Here's the crazy part. Even as Vader, even broken and scarred, Anakin was still unbelievably powerful. He walks through blaster fire like it's rain. He's pulling starships out of the sky. He's slicing through Jedi and rebels like a demigod on a revenge tour. And this isn't even his full potential. It's him running on rage and regret. But let's rewind to peak Anakin during the Clone Wars. He was outclassing Sith, holding his own against Dooku, and outmaneuvering Grievous. The man literally crashed a spaceship on purpose, just to save the Chancellor. Who does that? Who wins a lightsaber duel and makes snarky comments the entire time while leaping through fire? He had an instinctive understanding of the Force that defied logic. He'd block blaster bolts without looking. Leap from ridiculous heights like gravity was optional. He didn't think about the Force, he embodied it. Watching him in action is like watching a storm learn how to fight. And his mechanical skill matched his Force mastery. Engineering starfighters, lightsaber combat. All of it tuned to perfection. He was like a Swiss Army knife made of raw energy and teenage defiance. If anyone could have rebuilt the Jedi or destroyed them, it was him. But here's what makes his story matter. He didn't stay a monster. He didn't die a villain. In the end, he chose to come back. All that darkness, all that pain, and still, there was a sliver of light left, and it only took one thing to bring it out: love. When Luke stood before him, unarmed, refusing to fight. That was the first time in decades that Anakin saw someone believe in him. Not fear him, not try to use him, but believe that there was still something left inside. That tiny spark was enough to break the chains. And just like that, the Chosen One fulfilled the prophecy. He didn't conquer the galaxy. He didn't dominate the Sith. He simply chose good over evil. In the end, it wasn't his power that saved the galaxy. It was his choice. And it's kind of poetic. After everything he'd done, after all the destruction, he finds peace not through strength, but through surrender. Through letting go, the very thing the Jedi always ask him to do. He finally understood what it meant. So yeah, Anakin was the most gifted Jedi in history. But what made him legendary wasn't just the power, it was the fact that even at rock bottom, he still had the heart to do the right thing. In the end, Anakin Skywalker was a warning as much as he was a wonder. A being so powerful that no one, not the Jedi, not the Sith, not even himself, knew what to do with him. He was the galaxy's brightest flame. And like all bright flames, he burned out fast and hard. He could have been anything. A leader, a teacher, a reformer. But he became a cautionary tale, a symbol of how talent without guidance can curdle into tragedy. The Jedi saw him as a weapon. The Sith saw him as a pawn. No one saw him as a person. And yet, despite the fall, despite the armor and the name and the legacy, he was always Anakin underneath. The scared boy from Tatooine who just wanted to save the people he loved. In the end, that boy won, even if only for a moment. The galaxy moved on. New Jedi rose. Empires fell. But the shadow of Anakin Skywalker never left. His story hangs over everything that came after. A reminder that greatness and ruin often walk side by side. Because being the most gifted Jedi didn't make him invincible. It made him vulnerable. And no one, not even the Chosen One, can outrun who they are forever. Thank you for watching. If you enjoy my videos, please consider looking at my pinned comment and checking out the links for my Amazon storefront. It contains my favorite Legos, my gear in which I make videos, and comics that I read on a daily basis. I update it constantly, so please, take a moment and click on the link. On top of that, check out my second channel, Critical Analysis Hub Plus, and my third channel, Critical Analysis Hub XP. Just one click would go on a long way in supporting my channels and future in YouTube.